That woman stopped me from jumping and then she disappeared for 20 years. The Golden Gate Bridge was unusually empty that Tuesday morning. Perfect. I thought fewer people to intervene at 22. I was drowning in student debt, grieving my mother's recent death, and had just been diagnosed with a chronic illness I couldn't afford to treat. The fog rolling in felt symbolic, like the universe providing cover for my exit. I calculated everything, the best spot, the fastest drop, the quickest end. What I hadn't calculated was her. The sunrise is pretty spectacular from here, but the coffee is terrible, came a voice beside me. I hadn't heard anyone approach. She was maybe 50, with silver-streaked hair and eyes that looked like they'd seen everything but somehow remained kind. I am not here for the view, I said coldly, hoping she'd take the hint. I know, she replied simply, setting down 2 paper cups. That's why I brought coffee. She didn't look alarmed or pitying, just present, like we were meeting for a scheduled appointment. You are not going to tell me I have so much to live for? I asked bitterly. Would it help if I did? She countered. Because I could, but it would be dishonest. Life is brutally hard sometimes. She gestured to the coffee. Cream, no sugar, I guessed. I took the cup reflexively, more out of confusion than desire. Why are you doing this? 23 years ago? I stood exactly where you are standing, she said, looking out at the water. Someone brought me coffee seemed like a tradition worth continuing. For the next hour, she didn't try to talk me down or ask invasive questions. Instead, she told me about her garden, about the book she was reading, about her terrible cooking skills, mundane things delivered with such genuine interest in her own life that I found myself responding first in monosyllables, then in actual sentences. As the fog burned off, she finally asked, "What's the first thing that brought you joy? As a child, I mean." "Stars," I answered without thinking. "My mom bought me a telescope when I was 8. She nodded. "I'd like to make a deal. Give yourself one more sunrise, just one. Then you can come back tomorrow if you still want to." It was such a small request. "One more day," I agreed, if only to end the conversation. "Good," she said, standing. "I am Diana, by the way." "Allie," I replied. She smiled. "Nice to meet you, Ellie. I have a feeling about you." She left her phone number on a napkin. I crumpled it into my pocket, certain I'd never use it, but somehow I didn't return to the bridge the next day or the day after. I kept giving myself one more sunrise, then another. A week later, I called the number to thank her, but it was disconnected. I tried finding her online, nothing. It was as if Diana had never existed. Life remained hard. I struggled, relapsed, recovered, struggled again. But I kept my promise about the sunrises. 20 years passed. I became an astronomy professor, married, adopted 2 children. The chronic illness never went away, but I learned to live alongside it. Last month, I was giving a public lecture at the planetarium when I spotted her in the back row, older, but unmistakable. When I finished, the crowd dispersed, but she remained seated. "Diana," I approached hesitantly, her eyes widened. "You remember me? You are not easy to forget," I said. "Where did you go?" "Your number. I was going through my own things," she explained. "Moving cities, starting over. I couldn't be there for anyone else then." "But why come to my lecture now?" She smiled, pulling a flyer from her bag. "I saw your name and photo in the paper. I needed to see if you were the same Ellie. I had a feeling about you that day." Over dinner, I learned that Diana wasn't a suicide prevention counselor or social worker. She was just someone who'd been saved by a stranger herself and made a private vow to pay it forward. "I've only done it twice," she admitted. "You and another young man about 5 years ago. Did it work for him too?" I asked, her eyes crinkled. "He's studying medicine now, wants to work in emergency psychiatry." Before we parted, I gave her my card with my real phone number. "For when you find the next one," I said. "You shouldn't have to do this alone." She held the card carefully like something precious. "Some people just need a witness," she said quietly. "Someone to say, 'I see you standing at this terrible crossroads, and I am willing to stand here with you just for a moment.' Sometimes the kindest thing isn't grand or heroic. Sometimes it's just a cup of coffee and the gentle suggestion that maybe, just maybe, tomorrow's sunrise might be worth seeing."